So we're going to be talking about statements of special inspections as covered in the International Building Code. This is Chapter 17 of the code, and as shown on this slide, we're going to focus on the 2015 version, which is probably the most widely adopted version in the US right now. The changes between that and what you see in the 2012 are not that significant. The changes of the 2012 to an older version, 2009, are pretty significant. It was reorganized significantly in the 2012 code, but in general, while code references might be a little different that we're talking about, the requirements are pretty well the same if we're dealing with anything from probably 2006 to the 2015 code. As far as how I'm going to go through this, we'll first do just an introduction, make sure we understand what we're dealing with in relation to special inspections. Then I'm going to delve into what are the specific requirements for a statement of special inspections and what that means. After we understand what has to be laid out in a statement of special inspections, we'll address what are the different types of special inspections called out in the code. We'll discuss some miscellaneous items. The two things really that I want to talk about there are the contractor's statement of responsibility that's discussed in Chapter 17 of the IBC, and also structural observations, which to me should be included with the statement of special inspections, but they're considered somewhat different. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to try to pull it all together, all the stuff that we've discussed, and go through some specific project examples and see how we can put together a project-specific statement of special inspections considering different uses and types of construction. Okay, so part one, we'll do an introduction on special inspections. So as I was going through and I got my civil engineering degree, and then later on went and got my master's degree, I worked for a concrete, a mix plant, and they also did precast concrete, and I was an ACI certified field testing technician. And so I really like this slide, this picture that's shown on this slide, because it shows us a lot of what goes on in just testing concrete. In the bottom left-hand corner, and I'll get the pointer. So down here you can see that he already performed the slump test. He's on a relatively level ground. He's in the shade. He did an air test, and then right here he's doing his cylinders. So 3 even layers, 25 rods each layer. You tap the sides 10 to 15 times with the hand or with the mallet. Level it off. Supposed to keep it in similar conditions as to what's out on the job site. So there's a lot that goes into just sampling concrete, and that's just one tiny item of all the different types of materials and special inspections that are discussed in Chapter 17. But there's a lot that goes into just this one item. And I want to highlight that because it's not appropriate when we get into a statement of special inspections to just say, provide special inspections of concrete. We really need to be breaking it down, describing the extent and what we're doing. And so we'll discuss that a little further. Okay, so why should we be concerned with special inspections? Whether or not we are the design professional, or whether or not we're actually, that plans examiner or building inspector with the city, why are we concerned about them? In Structure Magazine, they had this quote, and it says, "You can help protect yourself from liability, provide a better product to the building owner, and provide an increased level of life safety." That was written specifically to the design professional. The importance of putting together a good, detailed special inspection program and statement of special inspection. So you protect yourself from liability, you're providing a better product, and you're making sure you have increased level of life safety. Obviously, on the building department side of things, the building inspector, the plans examiners, building officials, their primary responsibility is life safety. And so they need to also be very aware of the special inspection requirements for a project. Also in Civil and Structural Engineering magazine, they say there is probably no single act that an engineer can do that is as effective at reducing his or her liability exposure as performing inspections during construction. Obviously, they're not talking necessarily just about special inspections here. You might think it's just structural observations, but we will talk about today also in the code. It does allow for the engineer of record to provide special inspections on projects as well. So it doesn't have to necessarily be just structural observations, but special inspections and being out on the job as much as possible as a design professional also will help reduce our liability significantly.